Ba 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 ba. Well, look at that. The mic's hot. Well, hello, and welcome back. We're going to end the counter a little early here. How's it going, Queequeg? Long time no see. Good to see you again. I'm glad that the hype is strong, I think. So, what I'm working on is pretty much it's a CRUD API, basically. I originally, and I have to walk back some changes. I actually need to make this part of the data migration. I was prototyping this out earlier. But the point that I'm at is that, so I wanted to use this tool, SQL C, and it's one of those things where you learn about how valuable a tool is, and you really buy into the philosophy, and you think, yeah, this is great. But then in practice, you kind of start to wonder, but really? And that's kind of where I'm at with SQL C. I think SQL C is so awesome. I think the theory of it is so great. But then there's things that are not... With any sort of code generation, the problem ends up being that your code generation has to be perfect. Yeah, has to be perfect. And in reality, you encounter scenarios that are not perfect scenarios. And then that's where the tools start to break down. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, is I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I don't know. Let's see, enum CRUD, there we go. I think this is all right. Oh, what was my last commit? It looks like I need to do a vendor commit here. Allow simultaneous deploys. Oh, I think what have I done here? I'm not exactly sure where I left things off, but it looks like I might have run some sort of Go tooling. Let's see, what is all this stuff? That's not that much, is it? Okay. Jack C. Okay, so where I left things off was I think I just ran some updates on modules, and these are just files that changed because their dependency of something changed. Okay, so learning Python finally. Woohoo! Fight the good fight. Now, I am not a fan of Python as a language to program in. I am a huge fan of Python as a language to learn. And I think that the learning process is much more important because once you learn how to program, then I mean, it's funny. It's funny the things people say when they haven't yet learned to program, because they'll say things like, yeah, I'm learning about Python loops. And it's, well, loops are just a generic mathematical construct. They have nothing to do with Python. But, but that's the whole point, is that once you get through and you get learning, you can take that knowledge and you can apply it to any other language. Because languages are generally something like 25 keywords, 50 keywords for a really big language, 25 keywords for a well-maintained language. And if you get beyond 50 keywords, I just wouldn't use that language. That's a very messy language that you're just going to have a bad day with. Certainly not something you could pick up in a weekend, because it's the permutations of those keywords, putting them together in this way and that way, that makes up everything that you can do in the program. More or less. There's a little bit more to it than that, but that's the short of it. So you found a book in your library by, was it Ken Thompson, the man who made C++? I don't think he actually made C++ though. Was it Ken Thompson? Is that the one I'm thinking of? There's one that he's a prolific writer, and he's got a lot of good books and stuff. And he's in a lot of people's libraries. Oops. There. Come on. Chat window. There we go. Fix yourself chat window. This is interesting. It will let me... Oh no, it won't let... What? Huh, interesting. That's new. Let me try this. Huh. Apparently I can't make the window less wide anymore. I'll have to look into that and see what's going on there. So I'm missing the last couple of characters off of some of these. Okay. Ah, refreshed your passions. Your father left notes in the book. That's awesome. That must be so cool to read. Can I sum up where I'm at? Yeah, I will. I failed a C++ class that had a crazy low percentage. Because C++ is not a good language to learn, and it's not a good language to use. It's neither good to learn nor good to use. C++ is ancient and not in a, oh, it's old, therefore it's stable kind of way. It's just, it's buggy, it's difficult to learn. It's meant to be expressive rather than, and I've got a video on this. If you look on the Beyond Code channel, the Beyond Code Bootcamp channel on YouTube, I've got a snippet that's on C++. I think I called it insanity-driven development. Okay, Bjarne Stroustrup. I'm not familiar with that name, but that doesn't mean much because I'm not in the C++ community. I did enough C++ to realize this is a bad idea. But people do love bad ideas. They do love them. Okay, so quick summary of where I'm at. I don't know. Because this is a project that I started working on about a year ago, and then other things became priority. So I don't actually know. I don't actually know where I'm at. But what I do know is that I need to turn this into a basic CRUD app. And we can probably get that done in the next hour or two. Maybe. We'll see. But the first thing I need to do is I have to update the database migrations. So in order to not break things too much from where they're at, I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to update the database migrations. First, let me go ahead and add this. Let's see. Oh, that's weird. Ah, now I can see the diffs. So we updated pgcon, pgtype, pgx. We updated SQL-C. We updated Antler. Interesting. Interesting. WASM time. What in the world would that be necessary for? Go is starting to suffer a little bit from... Well, not starting. Go often doesn't live up to the hype because too many people in the Go community had Go thrust upon them. They're not real... They didn't buy into the philosophy. There should never be a project that has this many dependencies. This is just silly. It's just straight up silly when you look at all this stuff. But, you know, this looks like a Node project. This doesn't look like a Go project. It's a silly number of dependencies. But anyway, I'm just gonna do this. We'll do git commit -m chore update deps, and I'm actually going to do that for this one too. But I'm going to rename them. Watch this. Watch me do it. Watch me. I'm going to move this one here, and I'm going to rename this one vendor deps. That's what I like to call it. Okay, cool. And then we'll just go ahead and git push. What about Google's replacement for C++? I don't think they have a replacement for C++. The only language I know that's as complicated as C++, but that is worth using is Rust. And I think that Rust is doing poorly right now in terms of they are trying to support too many features. Hold on, my mic is doing something wonka-donk here. What's going on? Oh, there we go. Ah, there we are. Okay, that was a little too high. That was a little bit much. Let me move this down a little bit again. Okay. There we go. That's a little better. All right, so what am I doing here? Large files detected. No, look at this garbage. How did this happen? Oh, this makes me sad. This is, yeah, that's sad. WASM time. Why in the world would it be shipping with the 51.23 megabyte WASM time library? Yeah, people are not structuring their packages well. They're not putting go.mods to separate their test files and their example files from their library. And so things are starting to get out of control in some of these repositories. I don't know if the authors would be amenable to having somebody come in and just help out with that. And I don't remember. I have so little idea as to what I was doing about a year ago when we embarked on this, but I think, do I have some sort of, let's see, bin, migrate, create. There we go. Oh, good. Let's see what happens if I do this. Hey, look at that. I even left myself a nice little usage. So this one would be record type to table. That's what we're going to do here. And then I'm going to look at, what is this? Migrations, 2023, 03, up. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the reasons I like SQL C, is I can just copy and paste into there. And I think that this counts. One of the big problems, let's see, select star from record type. We don't actually need any selects in here. I need to go test this out on the staging database. Anyway, so I just have some data in a database. I need to define a couple of relationships, basically between a company and a person and a document. That's kind of the documents need to be related to companies. Documents need to be related to people. People need to be related to companies. And people need to be related to email address. And I may be finding out that I don't have the hour and a half that I thought I did. Give me 1 second here. All right, we're gonna have dinner a little early, so I've got 45 minutes. Let's see what we can do in 45 minutes. What was I saying here? Google. So in relation to Google in general, they come up with good stuff and bad stuff. They're a mixed bag. They're such a large company, and there's so much infighting within Google that they're like a box of chocolates. You just don't know what you're going to get, right? That's one of the things with Google. They come up with genius stuff, and they come up with stuff that's like, you paid somebody to make this? Really? So we'll see. They've got a new operating system they're working on that I haven't looked at enough to know whether it sounds interesting or not, but they got this thing called Fuchsia, and I think they might be developing a C++-like language for that operating system. Carbon. Yeah, Fuchsia. And let's see, Google Carbon. Let's see, what is this? Carbon language. An experimental successor? Okay. I mean, it looks like Rust. I kind of hope that Rust wins that battle. I want to know who the people behind it are. Are they the smart people or are they the weirdo people? Who's on the contributor list here? Who's ranking at the top? Let's see, who's the mind behind this? Is it somebody I philosophically agree with or disagree with? I mean, if they're doing something to try to replace C++, that puts me in the camp of both agreeing and disagreeing. It puts me in the camp of agreeing that, yes, we need something different, but it puts me also in the camp of disagreeing in terms of, well, let's not recreate those mistakes with different syntax. Let's see, John Meow. I have no idea who these people are. John Ross Perkins. I have not heard these names. I have not heard any of these names of the top 4 people here. These usernames are not familiar. These might be people from the C++ community or something. But they are not familiar to me in terms of names I recognize in programming language design. So, I mean, it looks like Rust, but then you got stuff like this. Look at that, plus plus I. It's just, no. But we don't need that. We don't, no. No. So I'm going to go with no. I'm going to go with not interested in this. Because if you want to make a complicated language that's safe, well, you've got Rust, right? What does it say? Unfortunately, designs of these languages present significant barriers to adoption. Successor language approach. Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Gentle learning curve. Yeah, comparable expressivity, this is bad. Languages should not be expressive. Languages are not works of art. I mean, they can be, and that's fine. But why would you put business money into, when we design rocket engines, we don't design them because, well, this one's pretty, we design them to do the work, and then you can paint it on the outside, you put some nice DuPont on there, but yeah, I'm not a fan of expressiveness. Languages should be very, very inexpressive. As inexpressive as possible to still get the work done in a reasonable way. Okay, so with that, I'm going to log into staging here, and I'm going to go check out the database, if I can remember where I daggone put it. I think I put it in API v2. What have I got here? Where is... Where was I even working on this the other day? Okay, I need to... B-Fox! Woot woot! Oh, Jabberer fan. Was a high school teacher and lost my drive. Oh yeah, burnout from the teaching. I hear about that from time to time from people who are teachers. Recently interviewed for Web Dev Spot. Got the second round, but didn't get the job. I will not be deterred. Good. Thanks for you guys put out. I appreciate it. Yes, you are welcome. And welcome to me live. So far, I am just talking about C++ and trying to remember where I was at with this thing and where this thing lives. I'm looking for a file in here to be able to tell. Is there a specific file that I should be looking for? Let's see, build.go. So if build.go exists in the subdirectory, then that would be the one that I need to be in. That's strange. Let me think about this for a second. Could it be on the dev system? Let me get out of here. Well, okay. Let's see. We have... No, I think I'm going to go into the server. And I think in here, I put... Yeah, there we go. There's my pSQL Connect. So I am in Postgres here. And if I remember, if we look at the tables... Oops. I think that... Do I have my record type? Record type map is right here. So I need to move this forward and move it backward. I need to do the migration and undo the migration. Okay, record type map is there, but I don't have record type enum here. So anything that's been going into there has just been breaking. That's fine. So alter column, record type map. I think that's already been done. Create if not exists record type map. Wait a minute. Where'd record type go? Oh, record type is the enum. Duh. Okay, so we do need to rename record type to record type enum. I think that's been done. Okay. And then we need to rename record type map to record type... No, record type map to record type. I'm changing this from being an enum in the database to being a table, because the way that it worked out with the tool I'm using, SQL C, it doesn't allow you to do meta queries. All of your database structure queries have to be done at the database level, which makes it not a good tool for a variety of use cases. And one of them is enums, where the enum might need to be updated on the user end because it would need to track it in a migration file, and that's not good. So because of the tool, I'm going to switch over to not using an enum, and that's probably fine because enums are often where you only want to have, 2 or 3 things, and I had about 30. So maybe it wasn't the right choice for that in the first place. And then we're going to add a constraint onto the other table, and I'll let you see what this does in a second. Okay, alter type. Alter table. That's what we need. Let me go ahead. Did I already have the correct alter table in there? No, I did not. So let me go ahead and just edit this in my notes. I was just making these notes in an issue. I was trying it out, and then I'm about to put it in the code. So we need to alter type. Yeah, and then we also need to alter table record type map rename to record type. That's what we just did. And then the last thing that I need to do is to add the constraint. So let's add the constraint. Cannot be implemented. Key, column types, and code are incompatible types, record type, enum character varying. What? Record type enum. Oh, well that's weird. Because I could have sworn that I'd alter column type varchar. Did I not do this? Let's go ahead and run this one again. Yeah, okay, then what's the problem? Okay, that works. Alright. Cool beans. Yeah, so I was able to convert it. Okay, good. So now it looks like I was able to do my migration. Now I'm going to manually undo it. Is it the light, or are you going gray like me? No, I am gray, my friend. I am gray. I got a big patch of gray right here, and then I've got gray all over the place in there. So the hairs of wisdom are coming to me. One day I want to look as distinguished as you. But the problem with that is that I have to get less of an oval face and more of that just manly square face. And I'd have to fill out see these little areas here? So you know what I'm talking about. I'm one of those pitiful fools, right? So there's the mustache, and then the empty spot, and then it comes back up, and then it goes over again. I don't think you've got that problem, do you? It looks like yours comes down nice and whoop, and fills in that little gap. All right, so now I need to do the opposite. So I just need to, that's the one migration file that we're going to have to run. I need to run this forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards, of course. So let me see. Let me go to the migration file that I'm editing. I've got that over in this tab. And then what did I say? So we're going to do... Okay, so when we do it forwards, we do it this way. We're going to alter the ledger table and change the record type column to varchar. Okay, and then I think we have to do this a second time, oddly enough. Because in this one, record type is an enum. And in this one, record type is no longer an enum. Yeah, so then we create the record type map. We insert into the map everything from the enum. Then we alter the enum type. And then I think we can just drop type after all of this. I think we can then do drop type record type enum, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check on that. I'll just try it over here. I don't know if drop type record type. Oh, whoops. Drop type. There we go. That worked. Okay, so now we need to do the same thing, but in reverse. And that's going to be our down migration is going to be to revert it. And so basically we just take the whole thing and we run it in reverse. So now this goes in the bottom and then this goes next. And we'll just kind of do these step by step and do the inverse of each one. And then we're going to have to go from bottom to top. Okay, so in order to create an enum type, can we create an enum type from a table? Let me look at where I created the enum type before. And how's it going, Kai? I have not seen you in far too long. Where have you been? I've just not been doing interesting things. Is that what it is? Too much dash, not enough go? Let's see. All right. So we're going to create type. Let's do Postgres, create enum from column. We can do it the one way. I hope we can do it the other way. Yeah, there we go. That's exactly what I want to know. Let's see. I think the enums may not have the ability. I may not be able to write the down migration. Create type mood as enum. Can I do it from a select distinct? All right, let's try it the other way. As enum select distinct from record type I don't know if this will work, but we'll try it. Postgres create enum select. I think what I'm going to have to do is query it out. Yeah, this is what I want to do right here. I think they're going to say you can't do it. All right. Okay, so all the more reason to not use enums, I suppose. Kai, what do you know about enums? Busy with more ops projects? Tell me more. All right, then what I'm going to need to do here is do the select here, and I mean, I guess this works. We have to do it literally rather than, how do I get rid of the pager? I guess this will be fine. Actually, you know what? I can just use the previous migration. This one. Crap, I'm going to have to do this to all these tables, aren't I? Yeah. That's going to be okay, though. Oh, whoops. No, I didn't want to create a second one. Okay. Help me to not get this wrong. So I moved the dash over to another channel mostly. So there's the dash incubator channel. I will still do some dash on here sometimes, but only when I think it's particularly interesting to a broader audience. But the all dash all the time channel is now dash incubator. Okay, not this one, the other one. Down. Down, boy. I'm still looking for a good SQL formatter, by the way. Something that will plug into Vim. PG formatter within Vim. I just haven't... I've looked a couple of times, but I didn't find a solution that seemed reasonable enough. Well, maybe that's not so bad, actually. Is this a new article? Okay, this is a new article. Okay, so it's not just I gave 0 effort last time. It's that this is possibly a new tool that didn't exist. Well, it says 5.5. It's got some good stars on there, but not as many as you'd think. I would like something that auto-formats. Vim PG formatter. PG formatter. Okay, cool. This is the one to save. You know, a little about enums, especially in Postgres. I use it in Go code occasionally for keeping a consistent ID. At least that's the way I think of it. Yeah, enums in Go are not enums. Go has C-style enums, which have very little relation to enums. They are integer-based. They are not type-based. However, that is similar to what an enum is in Postgres. In Postgres, an enum is all of these actually resolve down to numbers under the hood. So this is either 0 or 1. I don't remember how it starts. And then on and on and on, just like Go. But that is not an enum in a modern sense. That is an enum in the C sense. But still, it is a type of enum. And that is the type that we're talking about right now. But enums in a database it's understandable why enums in a database are constrained that way, because you don't have an expressive type system in a database. It's you can't. Databases are not, dare I say, object oriented or struct oriented like Go is. So I am a little sad that Go doesn't have proper enums. Okay, so add table ledger. So this is going to be alter table ledger, and then we're going to drop constraint. That should be good. And then we're going to alter table, alter column, record type using, I think we can just do the opposite. I think we just do varchar record type. But I think before we do that, we actually have to change. Did we change the type of the table? We dropped the constraint. I don't know if that will work yet. And then we need to change the type. And then instead of insert here, we can just do drop record type map. So we could probably do that pretty early on. Okay, so some of these we don't actually need to do in the complete reverse order. So we can drop the constraint, we can rename the type, we can drop it, we can create the new one, we can then alter the type to record type, not all these steps are actually necessary. We could probably just create it as record type. We could probably just drop the table here too. Yeah, we don't need to do the renames. Some of these were kind of one-way functions. And then, yeah, we don't really need to do that. And then we create the table if not exists, except we don't because we dropped that table. So I think the reverse operation is actually a little bit simpler. We drop the constraint. We drop the table. We create a new table of a different, or we create a type. And then we alter the column to be the type of the enum. Lesson starting? All right. Good luck. Thank you. All right, I'm just going to run this down migration. And because I have to go a little bit early, we may not get into the actual Go code. So, sorry about that. All right, so we dropped the constraint. That was not a problem. We should be able to drop the table now because it's a varchar. That shouldn't be a problem. Yep, that goes just fine. Now, whoops, we should be able to create this type. Let me see if I can do this in a better way. Hold on. I'm going to do it like that. Okay. And then, whoops. So now I can copy and paste the whole thing all at once. I'll go over here, copy and paste the whole thing all at once. Good, no problems there. This is the one where I don't know if it's going to work or if it's not going to work. But if it doesn't work, it shouldn't be hard to fix it. Interesting. I think I fundamentally did not understand what was happening there. Oh, I did not fundamentally understand what was happening there. Type is on the left. The name is on the right. Okay, now I get it. All right, so I should be... I'm going to manually run this. Maybe I'm not. Okay. Enums to tables. This is Better Snap Tool. And boy, oh boy, have I got some recommendations for you. If you check out the Beyond Code Twitter, there's a bunch of tweets that I've made recently. In fact, I need to go update this pinned one more. Give me a second here. Let's see. There we go. So my pinned tweet has been my discovery of Mac tools that I like. I need to also add into this Better Touch tool. Okay, and then what should I put here? Better Touch tool. Oh, and it's Better Touch tool and Better Snap tool. Better Snap tool is actually the one that gives the little areas that we can edit and stuff. Let's see. Let's Favoli. Better snap tool. Let me bring up the website here. Because I was using... Better Touch Tool has a very basic one built in. And because I was using that for the longest time, I did not realize that Better Touch Tool is its own thing. I mean, Better Snap Tool is its own thing. Okay, there we go. Now I've updated that tweet. So if you follow that whole thread, you'll find all of the interesting, fun things that I have discovered recently in the last couple of months, as well as some things I've been using for years. But I'm on the there's an app for that journey. The bug never hit me for the phone, but now that I've realized that there's a lot of really good tweaks for Mac OS in the App Store, I'm pretty happy about it. All right, so I'm going to need to do the same thing that I did there in other places. All right, going to have to get rid of record types. That one wasn't something that was doable. And then I guess I need to run the migration. What? Okay. And line 16. What's line 16? Oh, rename 2. I actually have no idea what database it just altered. Hopefully it wasn't production. Although this isn't really used in production yet, so it'd be fine. But let's see. Okay, it looks like it did update the development database. So we're all good. And it's got nowhere more to go. Alright. Okay, cool. Well, that's that. And now, what's the next step then? Let me go look in the server. Well, first, let me amend the commit. Did y'all know this? I cannot believe I did not know this. So, git commit amend is basically a shortcut for doing a rebase fix-up. I didn't know that. But now I do. I don't know if I should actually use it over using the other one. Well, it's pretty convenient. I need to do that a lot, so... Yeah, if you have something staged and you do an amend, it brings what is staged into the previous commit. Yesterday I tried to declaratively define my macOS setup in Nix, as I often switch client laptops. Well, that's... I have built Webby for that reason. It's probably not as... Oh, whoa, ForGod, where did you get here? Hello, hello, indeed. Oh, so I totally missed... Oh, I missed some comments here. Sorry, let me scroll back. Might tweak it in some UI and generate the migration. Tell me what tool I should use for that. I don't know, man. It seems like the best way to go about it is to enter in the SQL and then to run it. And if it works, copy it over to the migration file and then run it up and down like I did. It seems like there should be some sort of tool that you could use to let it watch what you do and then print out the results. It seems like that, but how would you even do it, right? I mean, how would you do a UI for a migration tool? How would you tell it to change a type or add a foreign key? That seems like that would be cumbersome to have to drag and drop this here, and I don't even know what that would look like. I can't currently imagine what that tool would look like, but if you know of a good one, let me know. I was looking at, there was this one, it was Moon something or other. I thought it was going to be great. It sounded like the database tool of my dreams. I was finally going to get in on a graphical database manager. But then I paid for it so I could get the pro version because I immediately wanted to use the pro features. And then within about an hour, I just gave up on it because things just didn't work that well. It was really slow. Yeah, if you know of something, then tell me. But I don't know of anything, and I generally don't like UI tools because they're not easy to automate. I mean, writing out the migration by hand is the way to automate it. Anyway, now I have to update other stuff in the code. So let's see. I think I had in here, I just wrote a bunch of scripts. I think I need SQL-C generate. That might take a minute because I've updated the dependencies and I don't know if I've actually rebuilt it since I've updated the dependencies. And I've got about 10 minutes left of that 45 minutes. Please tell me that this isn't broken. I hate C code so much. Okay, it didn't break, it looks like. Let's see what changed here. Hey! Alright, good, and these are modified now. Excellent. So, can I build? Can we build it? Alright, that's what I was afraid of. That's fine, though. So let's see. What was modified? We no longer have record type record. Ah, this is annoying, though. Because one of the reasons I wanted to use the enum is because SQL-C will automatically generate the Go code with the enum name. But when it's a table, it can't do that. But so SQL-C is, it's a nice tool for the idea that if you are just going to be using a database and you're not worried about abstracting the database away, you just, this is the database we're going to use, that's that, whatever, the end. Then it tightly couples your code to the database, to Postgres specifically is what it was designed for. And I wish they would have stuck to that, but they branched out and now they support MySQL and you know how it goes. Once they start, this is the problem with open source projects is they want to gather an audience and they always want to broaden their audience because in open source your reward is thumbs and stars, right? And so there's perverse incentive yet again to do stuff that's not really that smart in order to boost up your ego because, that's all you get out of it is you get an ego boost. So people will do things that they probably would realize are not a good idea, like spreading their time on something that they're not even getting paid for among an even broader community of people with even more diverse needs in order to get more stars. Instead, they should just start charging the people that want their product, because I'd be happy. SQL-C is a valuable tool. I would be happy to pay $99, maybe even more, but $99 would be a perfect price point for me to say, yes, I want a tool that is highly focused on Postgres and just Postgres and nothing but Postgres and to not have bugs. That's what I want. I don't want a tool that does more stuff. I want a tool that has fewer bugs. And anyway, but it generates a lot of code for you, generates a lot of the functions. So you write the SQL queries rather than writing the Go code, and then it generates the typed Go code from the SQL queries. All right, and then there is no record type here. Let's see. This is just going to be a map of a string. And we could make that an empty struct. But what I need is I need to pull this in somehow. I need to initialize this by pulling it in from the database. So let me go ahead and check this out. I finally installed Vim Commentary, and now Vim Commentary is available. All you do is use V to select and then GC to toggle on or off. So if it's commented, GC, does whatever. Sorry, not does whatever. If it's commented, it uncomments. If it's not commented, it comments it out. So webinstall.dev Vim Commentary. So if you want to get Vim Commentary, here it is. Look, people just need to stop being dumb, and I include myself in this. First and foremost, I'm pretty much dedicated to not writing any more open source tools until I get a payment solution figured out. So, and that's not entirely true because I still do work on some stuff that's open source, like Webby is predominantly open source, but it's not a new project. I'm maintaining things, and there are certain tools that I'm building that have a fairly narrow focus, but are typically things that I am using towards things that are making money. But we need to get out of the vein. No, sponsorships are so dumb. So dumb. I do not want to sponsor you, right? I do not want to buy you a lunch. Okay? Buying a lunch might make you feel good, but buying you lunch doesn't help me solve my problems, right? So when I'm looking at it from the business perspective of I've got problems that need solved and I want to pay somebody to do division of labor so that they can specialize in solving that problem, I can specialize in solving a different problem. When you've got a paid relationship, you've got that somewhat guarantee of specialization. When it's a donate or buy me lunch or any of that crap, it's great for the feel goods, but I don't want your feel goods. I want you to feel stupid and unappreciated and jaded. That's what I want you to feel if you're an open source. Because until you feel that way, you're not going to start charging for your product. And until you start charging for your product, I can't rely on it. I mean, look at Express, for example, with Node.js, right? The most popular routing library in the world. Probably powers more websites than anything else. Other than maybe, all web apps. Let's not say websites. Web apps. Powers more web app routing than anything else. Dead project, unmaintained, no financing. Just sitting there collecting bugs. Right? Very, very, very light maintainership on it. And that is a problem. Okay, what is assessment types? So I am over the idea that open source is building your own prison. That's what open source is. Open source is giving someone else the gun to point at your head. And I probably sound a little bitter, but I'm not bitter. I'm just coming off strong. Like it doesn't weigh me down. I don't feel hurt or jaded about the things that I've lost out on, things that I didn't make money on. That was my stupidity. I get that. But I want sustainable source. I want the ability to see the source. I want the ability to contribute a bug fix. I want the ability to know, but it's not like you're either closed source or you open source. You can be open source with a business license, like what GitLab does. GitLab, I think, is a pretty poor example because they have a terrible product. And they have a lot of features, but it's not solid like, say, Git is. Git has actually done a better job in this regard. Okay, so I'm being a little extreme in some cases. Maybe I need to relax a little bit, but you get the point. The open source model is not a sustainable model. It's just not going to work. It benefits big tech. It doesn't benefit so much the little guy. As long as VCs are capitalizing off of what people are doing for free, and those people have to resort to begging in their GitHub issues, like what happened this last month with the JS Core guy. I mean, it was really weak. I don't know how to say this. I get where he's coming from, and I feel for him to a degree. But as many people in the comments did say, he did it to himself. And not that I want him to feel compounded pain and hurt. I don't. But you do have to recognize that when you go into open source and you rely on donations and that stuff, and you start making a lifestyle off of that, or trying to, when it all blows up and backfires, you have to sell a product. You have to give people the ability to pay. You don't have to be a miser, you don't have to be greedy, but you have to give people the ability to pay. How can you charge for a library? That's a good question. We don't know all the answers yet. But I think it needs to be... No, we do know the answers. You know how you charge for a library? DaVinci Resolve Library. Let's do transition library. Where's the site that I found the other day? This is how you charge for a library. Every other creative professional has figured out how to do this, right? Even in CSS, they've figured out how to do this. You go to a website, you search in what you want. They've got some options. There's some packs, and they've got, okay, this has the glitch effect. This has the that effect. This has the whatever effect. I think the one reason that these seem to do a little bit better is that they are assets that don't have a defined it's correct or it's not correct, because a lot of our code libraries, any library that's correct doesn't have much of a competitive advantage over any other library. So if you, whereas within the other creative realms, it comes down to a matter of taste. You like this person's transition pack. You like this sound effect pack. You like this title pack. You like this color grade pack, so you like this set, but Adobe plugins, people pay for the scripting plugins. So there is a way to charge for libraries. I don't know, the approach is going to be different, but it needs to be similar. All right, I did not get this migration completed, so we're going to do, what did I mess up on this one? Assessment types. Let me see where assessment types is. Assessment types. It's going to be here, and then routes. And that's record type. All right, and where are we using assessment types? Are we not using it? Oh, assessment types are a subset of the types. Got it. Okay. So I think I actually do need to update that table and have an assessment boolean or some other type of value, maybe a tag. So let's do that. Let's go back to that. We're going to rerun the migration. We're going to run it down. And then we're going to go to the up migration. Hey, what's up, Dubs? How you doing, man? Did you try out any of those shell assignments? We're gonna have to postpone the workshop for a week because I don't have time to work on the next one yet, and I realized that I need to make some heavy modification to the style that I'm doing these things in. I think the first one, the style was right, but that same style doesn't work for the second workshop or the third workshop. But I went through it with Matt the other day, and I've got some ideas that I think I kind of know what I need to do, so we can get things. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, let me know how that goes. I've got updated slides. I don't think I've pushed them yet. needs a private package registry, right? No, I don't think it does. I think that this is the interesting thing, is I think what we need to do is we need to have a library for paying. I've thought about this, and I've actually thought about this in the context of Dash, because I think Dash would make it a lot simpler. In fact, I've worked on a tool like this for Dash. So you can kind of have it's super easy to pirate, but it's super easy to get paid. That's the model that I think we ought to start with. So you basically have something in hopefully the build tooling part of the code, something where when the code is being built, there's a check that goes on, or there's something that unless an option is configured in a particular way, with Go, it's actually, I think it'd be easier to do this with Go generate and with the tag system. But you have something where some code is or isn't included based on whether it's the pro version, and they do this with GitLab as well. The license forbids you from modifying it. It's easy to do. You can circumvent the copy protection, but the copy protection is there. And this would be just like freemium apps for Mac, right? You can use it for 14 days, and then it just starts popping up and say, hey, do you have a business license? Hey, do you have a business license? Hey, do you have a business license? Or it'll open up, but it'll take 10 seconds to open. It'll have a little counter, 10, 9, 8. And so eventually you're like, yeah, I should get the business license. That one I don't like as much as just the straightforward, this is what it cost, but it is nice to have a trial of some sort and to not lose all the capabilities all at once. But generally, after I've used something for a month, if I'm getting to the point where it's opening up, counting down from 5 seconds each time, I'm typically at the point where I know that I want it and I'm ready to pay. So I think we can do something like that. I've experimented with the idea of, for example, in Telebit, putting rate limits in Telebit. So your bandwidth is limited, but it's in the code. You could change it, you could pirate it, but you're just forbidden from doing so. So somebody who's a high school kid, whatever, they're going to pirate it. Don't worry about it. But somebody that's a United States business or a UK business, they're not going to pirate it. When they want the additional features, they're going to pay. And you just have a little bit that unlocks where, and you could, with Dash, you could actually do this basically with a transaction ID. So you could have part of the code, something like a npm run pay or whatever. You could somehow work it into your library so that there's a command that you run, it pops up a QR code, you scan the QR code, you pay the amount, and then you have the license. And the license is the transaction ID on the blockchain. So it is a smart contract. And I'm not hard into that stuff. I don't want to give the wrong impression that I think that, blockchains are the world's problem solver, whatever. But for just being able to prototype this out quickly and simply and internationally with the least amount of friction, I think that Dash actually could be a great solution. Not just a good solution, but a great solution. Then the question is, how do you onboard people to get the Dash in the first place? I do have some ideas for that. Basically, there are some tools that every developer is already paying for. And so if you give it to them at a discount to buy into Dash, I don't want to go down that route right now because it's going to sound too proselyte-y, and I don't want to be proselyte-y about it. I think that it's a tool that solves a problem. I don't think that blockchains are in general a good idea. I think that there's something that exists, whether or not it's the optimal solution, it's a tool, even if it's a Rube Goldberg machine, it does have a certain feature that could solve this problem in a simple way without having to go through PayPal and Stripe and all that. You probably do want to do that, but just to prototype it out and to get it out the door, I think we could do something like a bit switch, download a license file. A license file goes in the .env. The license file is essentially maybe a transaction ID that is signed with a payment key, which you wouldn't have to worry about that. It would be all transparent to you. But basically the same money, the same key that paid for it would also sign it, and then you could delete that, whatever, as long as you have the signature. That is the license key, because that could be validated because the public key is on a public ledger. So there's ways to do it without going deep into all the nasty bits and including lots of dependencies. You can make it a web request to check something and whatnot. And again, it would be easy to pirate, but a lot of these things are easy to pirate. But we don't pirate them because we see the value in it as a business tool. So that's the reason that we don't pirate it, not for an altruistic reason or moral reason as much as I need to know this is going to be there in a year or whatever. So now that I've thought about that for a little bit, let me get back to this. So I'm going to call this a tag, and I don't know if this tag system is going to work out well or not, but we're going to go ahead and just put this in here, and this can be default null. And when I insert this into here, afterwards, let me go grab from that file, and I'm going to have to go in just a minute. But I think what we'll do is we'll take this file here, and we're going to say update record type map where code equals, it's probably, I think the way that I did these was just straight camel case, equity conversion assessment, update record type set tag equals assessment. Oh, you know what? Maybe I could just, are there any things that are assessment that are not, okay, if all of these have the name assessment, okay, these are called agreement. Oh, no, this one does have assessment as well. So does this one this one also has the assessments and this one only has the assessments? Let me see. When we do a grep of this file for assessment, do we get everything twice? Can I do a sort on this and see to assessment, 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 to assessment. Okay, so I don't need to do what I'm about to do. We can actually undo that. We're fine. We don't need it right now. Because assessment types, well, I think we ought to put the tag there. Let me go ahead and probably ought to put the tag there because I don't want to tie the name of it to the, has to have assessment in the name. Or maybe I do. I don't know what to do, so I'll leave it alone. When in doubt, don't. So, okay, get rid of that. That's fine. We'll go back on it. All right, now going back in the Go code. All right, so my wife is probably expecting me to just kind of wrap things up and be a responsible adult and go now. So I'm going to wrap things up. Let me read these comments. Vim commentary is the plugin you've been using the longest. Now that's great. I'm glad to hear it. Apex. I don't remember what Apex is. There's a lot of weird stuff that goes on in tech and big tech. And I think he might be a little too close to big tech. Because a lot of the big tech stuff doesn't work out with your... Well, I don't know. I shouldn't even say that. But I'll have to look into Apex and see what it is. Because I really have no idea whether he was... But he was one of the Silicon Valley types, wasn't he? And a lot of those things, they just don't get off the ground without investor money. And no aspirational business succeeds. People succeed in business by solving a problem that people want solved, and not by justifying a moral value that people want justified. Your open source project was sustainable for 2 years. Which one was that? That's awesome. Okay. And then, yeah, so I was way behind on comments there and then just catching up now. Hey, everybody, how's it going? Yeah, there's definitely pitfalls in the curriculum that I'm working on for Beyond Code. By the way, if you're interested, I am doing workshops now for Beyond Code. So follow on Twitter @_Beyond Code, and well, when I roll the thingy, it shows where you can follow. But if you're interested in the course, ping me, and I'll get you signed up. We're doing the shell stuff first. All right, gotta go. All right, bye, Kai. Yeah, it was great talking to you too. Yeah, without her having to call. Yeah, if she has to call, she might feel a little disappointed. So I'm going to go try to be a better husband. Y'all have a good one. I will catch you later. Adios. Oh, wait, and the raid. Hold on, the raid. I'll do it.